Yo, what's good, on today's video? I got how to make the +1 speed. Um, yeah, I forgot the game. But the point is, I'm here with part two and stuff. You guys really love part one. Thank you guys for all the love and support you're showing on part one. So let's go ahead and get straight into part two. Sorry for the delay, and let's get straight into it. Okay, so in part two, I added wins and stuff. So pretty much where when you get to a certain, like once you beat a level, I consider them levels or like stages. When you beat a level, you can get a win, and it'll keep track of the wins. And I added an obby level and stuff. So I just wanted to show you guys how to just design that. So I'm not a map designer or anything, so this is not going to be pretty. I'm literally just showing you guys just generally how it should look. So here's essentially what we're gonna do, right? So if you guys remember, you guys know how in the game the first kind of like level is you just have to jump across some platforms and just avoid falling because if you hit the ground then you die. It's kind of like, like floor is lava kind of thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a part and stuff. I'm gonna probably put this into uh I'm gonna group this actually, yeah. So I'm gonna right click and group as model. We're gonna call this level one. I guess we'll just put everything that's involved in level one inside of this, right? So I'm gonna make this the same color as the keys. You don't have to do this. So I do want to clarify something. Your design choices do not have to match mine exactly. Like your parts don't have to be the same thing. Like you can design your obby any which way. It doesn't matter and stuff. The coding is more so what matters. But for the coding to match, you kind of have to do it like how I did it. So I'd recommend you just follow along what I do. But you don't necessarily have to. Like everything doesn't have to be the same size as mine and everything. But yeah. Wait, what color are these? Oh, magenta. Okay, let me see. Magenta, magenta. Is that magenta? Okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna make this a big platform. This is going to be starting, right? So this is gonna be our starter platform. So I'm just gonna bring that up and then I'm gonna scale it out a little bit. So boom, scale it out a little bit. This is going to be where players spawn in, and then I'm going to move our spawn. So you want to move your spawn here. I would also recommend setting spawns can't collide to false because we're going to be teleporting players back to the spawn once they claim a win, and you don't want it to glitch and they get stuck in the spawn. So I'd recommend setting can't collide to false, right? So boom, we have this. You can really name the parts whatever you want to. Like I'll let you know when you need to name something. I'm really just probably gonna leave this as just, part. Or you could just name it as like part one or something, like to keep track of like, like the order you're going in. So then the next thing I want to do is I want to move these keys up here, right? Now obviously they're kind of, in individual, they're kind of like individually packaged, I guess you could say. So what I'm essentially going to do is I'm going to open up keys, right? We're going to right click hierarchy, select children, and then we're going to press Control plus G or right click and group. We just want to group them as a model. And then I'll just call this level one keys and stuff. So we just know that it's like, level, that way I can just move them all at the same time together like this, right? I'm gonna put it at the top. Now, obviously, I probably should make this. I'm gonna make the part a lot longer so then the keys can fit on here. So let me get my keys and then I'm gonna just do select, bam. Okay. So I'm gonna make the part a little bit wider. There we go. Okay, cool. So kind of like that, right? So there we go, right? So we now have that. I'm going to move the keys over just a little bit, right? And then we can begin designing the obby. So let's say this, oh my bad, did not mean to do that. So let's say this part right here is oh my bad. This part right here is the end of the like starter part, right? So then from here, we're gonna make a kill part. So what we're going to do is you're going to insert another folder into the workspace. You're going to name this kill zone because this is going to be a kill zone. So kill zones, right? I figure we're going to have multiple kill zones in the game. So you might as well just put all your kill zones in here and then like whenever a player touches it, they die. That way you don't have to, you don't have to make a function for each individual one. You can literally just have a for loop that just gets all the kill zones from this folder. So you're just going to insert a part, just make it red, make it look like kind of like lava kind of thing, and stuff, and then you're just gonna put it on the ground. So essentially, like, if a player falls off, then they're gonna die. Now, I do want to specify something. So I'm just gonna make my kill zone forward and stuff. Obviously, it doesn't cover the sides and stuff. Now, obviously, in a real game, and stuff. Like in a real game, this would kind of be walled off and everything. Like this would be considered the starter area. So this is where the obby actually begins. So that's why I'm not putting the kill zone over here. Now, of course, you do have the choice. Of course, of course you, of course, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, so of course you guys do have the choice to, like, do something like this if you wanted to. So if that is also an option, but yeah. So I'm just gonna drag it out a little bit, and then yeah, you can just name this level one kill zone. You can name it level one kill zone. Then I'm going to drag this inside of the kill zone folder, right? Oh, let's also actually make a folder for levels. Yeah, let's make a folder for levels, and then we're just gonna put level one in there. That way, we need to keep everything organized and stuff. So it's like, you can easily access it and stuff, and that it doesn't clutter the workspace to where we can't find anything. So this is our kill zone. Definitely make sure Can't Collide is enabled, and make sure it's anchored as well and stuff. All right, and then let's make our next thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to levels, level one. We're gonna get this part. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to get the level as well as the keys. So level and level one key. Oh, so I selected both at the same time. So hold the control key and select both. And then I'm just gonna duplicate by pressing Control plus D, or you can right click and then just press duplicate. So I'm just gonna move this up, right? So I'm probably gonna do something like this, or actually, no, never mind. Sorry, no. I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm gonna duplicate the part itself. I'm gonna move it up, and then I'm just gonna scale it. So obviously, since this is like kind of like an obby kind of thing, you want to start off easy, and then it'll get a little harder. So something like that, a clearly easy jump. You don't have to, like, be moving that fast to clear that jump, right? Then we need keys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and because this is keys. This is level one keys. Okay. So then from here, I don't know if yeah, I don't think I want to put all the keys inside of this. I think that'd be too much. So I'm just gonna duplicate this, or maybe I'll duplicate one key. Yeah, okay, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna duplicate one key, right? We're gonna duplicate one key. We're going to move it forward like that. Let me move it over a little to the left, right? Then I'm gonna drag this key into the keys folder, right? Then I'm gonna right click. We're gonna group as model. Then this will be I guess this is also level one keys. Um, or I'll just do level one keys one, I guess, just to keep, yeah, I guess just to keep track, just so I can just tell. So level one keys two, you guys don't really have to worry about naming it like this. And then I'm just gonna duplicate it. Again, this is the exact same thing we did in the first video, if you guys recall. This is literally the first thing. So we're just gonna space them out. I'm just gonna keep duplicating until we reach the end. Boom, and I think one more, and then okay, there we go. Okay, so then oh shit. Oh my bad. I just realized I did that wrong. I was not supposed to do that. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna open up all of them, right? You were not supposed to duplicate all of the groups. I just needed to duplicate the keys. So I'm just gonna select all the keys again, hold the control key bind, and then just select them. Then just drag them all into one of them. And then you can just delete all these groups. Again, hold the control key bind and then just left click. Okay, there we go. So now they're all inside here. Then what we can do is we can hierarchy select children. We can duplicate, move forward, maybe a little backward, move forward again, boom, and then again, boom. So we're gonna do something like that, right? Okay, boom. We have our second set of keys, right? And then we will do the same thing again. So I'll make the platform essentially the same. So we could actually call the parts, we'll call them platforms. So let this be platform one, then this will be platform two. It's just important it's a good habit to name everything so that you just know, like, like what it is, like what everything is, I guess. So I'm just gonna select platform two as well as level one keys too. Um, oh wait, I just realized actually this actually makes much more sense. Let me do platform. I'm gonna name it. Okay, I'm gonna rename stuff. My bad, guys. Let's call this platform. Let's do platform one keys, right? Then platform two key. Well, actually, no, never mind. No, 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 never mind, never mind, never mind. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's like 1 in the morning for me. Never mind. Because I just realized we're gonna have multiple platforms across different levels, so it just makes sense to just call this. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Anyway. Okay. So we're gonna grab level one keys two and then platform two, duplicate it. Now this time you're gonna move it, but put much more space in between, right? Because now it requires the player to move a lot faster to clear that jump, to clear that gap, right? Then what we can do is we can then essentially do the same thing, duplicate again. Now this time you're just going to drag it even further out, kind of like that. And then this will be the end of it, right? So of course I'm going to go through and update these names. So this is level one keys three. This is our third set of keys and then our fourth set of keys, right? So boom. And then of course this would be platform number three and then followed by platform number four, right? Then what we can do is we can scale out platform number four. And then here's what we could do. So this would be the end of level one. So what we would do is we would put a little, I don't know if this is considered a spawn, so we just insert a part. And then what you're gonna do is you would essentially just call this a win part. So whenever a player walks on a win part, they'll get a win. So we'll say win part, right? Make sure it's anchored and stuff. I'm gonna make it gold and then just scale it out a little bit. So something like this, kind of like a little square. So something like this, and I'm just gonna put it on the corner. So when the player touches this, what'll happen is they'll get a win, and then it'll send them back to the spawn, right? So this is a win part and stuff. We're gonna insert a folder, right? We can close all that stuff. We're gonna insert a folder into workspace. This is going to be for your win part, right? So whenever a player touches a win part, they'll get a win. And then what you want to do is you want to insert a number value and then you're going to name this win amount and then set this to however many wins you want the player to get and stuff. I'm gonna set it to one. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a million percent sure in the game you only get one win per like win part. Like I'm pretty sure there's not like, oh, you step on this win part, you get like two or three wins. So if that is the case, you don't really need to do this. You would just need to increase their wins by one. But if I'm wrong, I just wanted to do this. Like if you want to give like two wins for level two, three wins for level, whatever you want to do kind of thing, right? But yeah, so they'll be awarded that amount of wins and stuff. And then I want to, so make sure you rename your spawn location starter spawn. The reason for that is so that we know like where to respawn, where to send the player once they get a win. Because remember, it sends them back to the beginning of the kind of obby thing. So once you're done with that, we can then move on to the coding. So let's go on ahead. Let's open up our local script, right? We're going to make a little adjustment here. So obviously since the key parts are not directly parented to the keys folder and they're now like, they're parented to their groups and then the groups are parented to the keys folder, we now need to get descendants instead of children. The difference between children and descendants means children means like direct children. Like this is the mother, these are the children. Descendants means anybody, right? It means children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, like et cetera, right? So descendants will get us the groups as well as the parts as well. So we're just going to change this to get descendants, right? Then we need to run a check because obviously we want to skip the groups, right? We want to skip these groups. We just want the parts themselves, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say if not v is a mesh part. Now I want to clarify something, right? I want to clarify something. So this means if it's not a mesh part, then we do not want it to continue. Now you guys see how my keys like okay, find your keys, click on it, and find the class name for it. My keys are specifically mesh part. They are of the mesh part class. If your keys are regular parts, change this to part and not mesh part, right? Or if it's some other material, then change it to that. If it's some other class, change it to that. I'm gonna put mesh part because that's what my keys are. You want this to match whatever the material is. If you set this to mesh part and your keys are like the class name, the class is regular parts, this is not going to work, and the keys just are not going to work at all. But yeah, so we'll say and v.name is not equal to key. So if it's not a mesh part as well as the name is not equal to key, then continue, which just means we'll skip and then go on to the next one. That's literally all we did for the local script, so we can then move on to the server script. So moving on, we can open up the server script. So at the top, we're going to create some folders for our kill zones as well as our win parts. So we have our kill zone, so workspace, wait for child, kill zones. Then we have our, or sorry, not work parts, win parts is equal to workspace, wait for child, win parts. Then we need to set up two functions using for loops. So for I v comma for I comma v in I pairs, we'll say kill zones get children enter. Then we'll create a variable for the specific kill zone, which is equal to v. We will say kill zone dot touched connect function close parentheses enter. Oh my bad, sorry, not close parentheses. In parentheses, put the word hit. Then we use an if statement. If hit dot parent find first child humanoid, which means it's a player humanoid, right? Then we will get the character. So character should then be equal to hit.parent. And then we need to kill the player since they, they made contact with the kill zone. So then we'll just say character dot humanoid dot health is equal to 0. And then that's the kill zone. Now on to awarding players wins. So same kind of logic. We can really just copy and paste to save ourselves some time. So Control C, Control V. You're just going to change this. So from kill zones to win parts, then this would be a win. This would be a win part. Then you can just copy, paste. So my bad. Same logic generally applies. The only difference we need to throw an and in here. So the problem is with touched, using touch as an event, even if a player dies, their body is still touching the part. So that means this function will be called multiple times. We need to kind of debounce kind of thing. Like we need pretty sure it's called debounce. I'm not sure. It's 1 in the morning. I'm a little tired. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're going to run a check. We're gonna say and not hit dot parent find first child awarded win, right? Pretty much what this means is that if we don't find this value inside of the character, then that means they have not been awarded it yet, and then we can award them, and then we can create it. So after we've created a variable for the character, we're then going to create the awarded win. And this is just a boolean, just so that we know like, oh, we've given the player the win, so that they don't get like extra wins, like more than one kind of thing. So we'll say awarded win dot name. They're very important. Make sure you spell it correctly, and then make sure you parent it correctly as well. Parent it to the character. We'll remove it from the character pretty much a second after. So by the time they've been moved back already, then we can remove this part because obviously we're not resetting their health. We can then get the player by doing game.players. You'll do get player from character, then throw in the character. You can say player.leaderstats dot wins, which are going to create the wins value soon. Wins dot value. So you can either do plus equal 1 or do win part dot win amount dot value is completely up to you, right? And then we will update the character's position to character pivot 2. Workspace, this is why I said you need to have your starter spawn, you need to rename it, so starter spawn.cframe, so then we'll set them back to the starter spawn, and then we'll set up a delayed function, so task.delayed 1 second, comma function, close parentheses, enter, so after 1 second passes, we will destroy the awarded win value and stuff, right? Since they should have been awarded the win by that point, we will scroll down and then create the win value, so just copy this. By the way, I am saying win and not wind and stuff because I kind of got confused myself a little bit because I was like they sound kind of the same. Anyway, so you're just gonna put wins and then just copy this. So copy, paste, paste, paste because it's essentially another number value that will be available or visible in leader stats. By default should be set to 0. And then that's all we gotta do. Okay, let's test to make sure everything works. As always, if you guys want access to any one of my scripts or models, including this one, simply read the description and find out how to gain access to that. All right, so I'm gonna build up my speed a little bit. Like I said, just read the description and find out how to get access to that. So I'm gonna build my speed up real quick. Okay, so as you can see, our keys work just fine. All of our keys still work. Okay, so build my speed up. Boom, we can clear that, but let's see what happens. As you can see, when I touch the kill zone, I die. Right? So that's working just fine. So I'm able to clear this obby, boom, and boom. Okay, cool. Right? Oh, I should probably move the part back a little bit. I didn't realize it looked that off. But anyway, so as you guys can see, we then have our win part, right? So as you can see, if I step on it, it then sets me back here, and then I get one win. And then if I can do the same thing, boom, I get another win, but then it sets me back to the beginning. So yeah, this is part 2, kind of a shorter part, but hope it introduced some good concepts and stuff. If you guys want to see more, just continue showing the series love and support. Everything, let me know if you guys found any bugs or if there's anything else you want to see and stuff. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.